Oh, wasn't that beautiful intro music? This is a fitting way to bring us into Dan Tony Sports. It is Tuesday night, 7:15 p.m. Thank you for that, Tony. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan O'Shea, Tony Casper, Dan Beebe. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Good.
It's good.
Wonderful.
Ooh,
we got a wonderful off.
yeah.
Speaking of wonderful, we got a wonderful show coming up for you guys tonight. Got a lot to do. We're going to do our mid-season NFL awards. We're going to discuss the college football playoff top 25. I made my own top 25, and I just want to say I disagree very much with what the college football playoff has come up with. And, of course, we're going to do our normal, yeah. So, without further ado, let's get into this episode with our pigskin poetry. Shut the fuck up, Texas. Get your ass back where you belong. Your team is not that good, and your horns are not that long. Your team plays no defense, and they couldn't stop a kitten. You make average tight ends look like Jason Witten. Your offense is okay, and you're on the right track. But you don't belong in the front of the line, so move your ass to the back. Your playoff dreams were killed. No, they were dead before. After your loss to Maryland, you knew it in your core. Now you play West Virginia, which is another huge test. And you're going to lose. And that's okay. Sometime soon, you'll have your day. But that time is not now, so let's stop this stupid game. Because hearing hook 'em horns is just really fucking lame.
You have a real problem with Texas.
I do.
And why? What's your issue with Texas?
It's not so much Texas that I have the problem with. They're just the biggest example of the problem that I have. It's a team getting so highly touted because of their name. They're not a very good team. They've only got 2 losses, and they beat Oklahoma. But guess what? Oklahoma's not as good as we thought they were either.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that aren't as good as we thought they were. We don't even know what Alabama is. They haven't played anyone. They've had less of a hard schedule than Texas. Up until right now, yes. They played nobody.
They played Texas A&M, and they thrashed them. Let's see, who else have they played?
Right, but if that's your comparison to Oklahoma...
I mean, hey, they were down to Ole Miss, and they came back huge. Granted, when I say they were down to Ole Miss, it was a 70-yard touchdown on the first play that Ole Miss scored and then didn't score for the rest of the game.
Then that barely counts, doesn't it?
It counts.
Then if that's the case, the Bills almost won last night.
The Bills looked pretty good, actually. I'm very surprised.
Solely on defense.
Right. But that's what happens. That's the Giants' problem of last year. That's what happens when your defense stays on for every play almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really quickly, off topic, made me think of a time back when Peyton Manning was on the Colts. When Peyton Manning was on the Colts, it was my freshman year at UAlbany. And I was at Uno's with my roommates. And we're watching the Colts versus the Dolphins. So this was back in 2008. And the Colts won by 18 points and possessed the ball for less than 6 minutes the entire game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference of having someone like Peyton Manning.
Less than 6 minutes for the entire game. They were on offense.
That only works if you have someone like Peyton Manning.
Yeah. That was just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh. So anyway, you're not really going to have to worry about Texas being talked about for the rest of the year. I mean, they're statistically removed. 1 loss is going to be the most you can get to even be considered.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it depends on those losses. I think losses to Maryland and Oklahoma State aren't going to be strong enough to get you into the playoff. Besides, you're going to get throttled by West Virginia this week anyways. But if you lose
I mean, the way this season is going, I wouldn't say that they're going to get throttled because anybody can lose. You've seen that. If
you lose to Florida, who's in the top 25, by a not so large margin, and then you keep it a game in the fourth quarter against Alabama, and you still lose, I can certainly see LSU getting into the playoff.
Yeah, they would have to lose by less. They'd have to keep it close.
Yeah. Breaking news, guys. Alabama's the number one in the first college football playoff rankings. Thank you.
I thought you had real breaking news.
It's what CBS is telling me. Breaking news.
Okay, well, CBS is clearly late. They're not breaking anything.
Oh, God. So, breaking news. Do you know who the backup quarterback for the Bills is going to be this week?
Peterman.
Nope, he's the starter.
Who the backup is.
Yeah.
I got to imagine they're out of, their regular roster, so is it going to be like a receiver or something?
They're probably going to have Pryor do it now that they
picked him up from the Jets. It's Terrell Pryor is the backup quarterback.
He's on the Bills.
Well, he got signed today, and he was being a wide receiver, but at this point, you might as well put him in there as the backup. He's the best option you have out of your wide receivers.
They had said, Allen's not ready. They don't think, what's his name?
Anderson.
Yeah, Derek Anderson's going to be healthy enough.
He's supposedly in concussion protocol, but they won't confirm that.
Yeah, so they expect the backup quarterback, and I'm assuming probably this, starter after the second half. Excuse me, it's going to be Terrell Pryor.
Well, if Peterman starts throwing interceptions again, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Could you imagine how much that would absolutely kill your psyche if you are a young quarterback and they bench you for a wide receiver who hasn't played quarterback in 9 years?
At least you have a wide receiver who did play quarterback.
And he wasn't even that good of a quarterback at Ohio State.
Well, that was the run-pass option.
Yeah, he was an athlete.
Yeah, that's what it's been for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing now is that Dwayne Haskins is not exactly what we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year, but he's.
I don't. What do you mean by that?
When he is under serious pressure, he's been like a card table.
I guess, but I mean, look at his stat line.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that he's not good.
Last week you said that he still stands as the current MVP or the current Heisman. So
yes, and he still does.
Right, but you didn't even think he'd be in Heisman consideration. So how can you say, looking back, he's not what we thought he would be?
I'm saying the collective we.
No, I disagree with that because one, you were wrong. Clearly, he's not what you thought he would be at the beginning of the season. He's way better, and I've been saying it from the beginning. And I don't know that either one of these two had the opinion on it.
Right. I don't.
So you were wrong in the wrong way that you're trying to explain now.
He's somewhere between what we thought, in terms of a passer. I mean, his numbers are absolutely gaudy.
I guess
he's not as prolific a passer with the accuracy that you thought he was going to be, but he's far superior to what I thought he was.
I mean, I thought he would probably be around this point. Like, nobody does well with pressure on them. That's how Tom Brady lost 2 Super Bowls to the Giants after winning every game of the season. So no quarterback does well when there's somebody in your face.
What are you talking about? Nate Peterman alone in the game against the Chargers threw 3 touchdowns.
No, I'm surprised
to the Chargers.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm surprised he didn't throw one and have it intercepted off a guy's dick.
Reggie Ragland off the balls.
Yeah, Reggie Ragland off the balls. Nate Peterman might make that throw actually happen. It will not be a Madden glitch.
It's funny his name is Peterman for that.
Peterman.
Yeah, really quickly, Tony, we're going to let you get this out of the way at the beginning. Go ahead and talk about the Red Sox.
Strong performance. I actually have to give it to Alex Cora, if anybody. That Alex Cora did a fantastic job managing in a way that nobody has really thought to manage and doesn't really manage a postseason. He told his starters from the get-go that I'm going to ask you to do things you don't normally do. The bullpen, which was its biggest question, accepted that as a challenge, and they stepped up during the times that they were asked from them, and everyone bought into the system. And other than an 18-inning, which is insane, baseball game, they were able to almost sweep them if it wasn't for a game that actually lasted the equivalent of 2 games. That being said, some fun facts with that, and I'm still happy for the MVP Pierce because he played in all the teams in the AFC, or not in the AFC, wrong sport. AL East. Played for every team in the AL East. He's one of 6 players to ever play for every team in one division. And then he grew up a Boston fan, and then he steps up on this stage and hits some of the clutchest home runs that we've ever had in the franchise history. So definitely congratulations to him. But some fun statistics about the 18-year game, the 18-inning game. That game took 7 hours and 20 minutes.
Yes!
The entire 1939 World Series took 7 hours and 5 minutes. That game took longer than the entire World Series in 1939. And crushed pretty much every record for longest game ever. Not to mention, I did look at the end of the 13th inning. What was the longest World Series game ever? At that point, it was 4 different games were tied that had gone 13 innings. The first ever to do that was 100 years ago when the Boston Red Sox played the then Brooklyn Robins.
Which was the Dodgers.
Which ended up becoming the Dodgers. So the first time it went 13 innings, which is the longest game in baseball, was 100 years prior to watching the longest World Series game in baseball.
Interesting. And one of us brought up the fun fact, I think it was Dan Beebe, that the Red Sox pitched both David Price and Chris Sale. It's a funny little name thing, Price Sale.
Yeah.
And then not to mention the games were broadcast by who? Joe Buck.
Yeah, go figure. Buck, Sale, Price.
It's too bad they weren't Yankees, because then you'd have Cashman.
I'm glad they weren't there. But that being said, the other fun thing going off of that, you reminded me, Chris Sale threw the first out of the World Series.
And the last.
And it was so gloriously fitting that Manny Machado was the final out, going down flailing like a wounded bird.
Oh, man. Manny Machado.
You deserve everything that happens to you, Manny. Everything.
Yeah, I'm not a Manny Machado fan.
Oh, you know how I feel about Manny Machado.
Yeah, you think he's an asshole. Yeah, We get it. But
it doesn't matter. We won World Series champs.
Yeah. And the Dodgers, they had their chances. That game 4, I don't know, blow a 4-run lead with an inning and a half to go.
Well, why did he take the pitcher out there? He said it was a miscommunication, but tell me one pitcher that's pitched a one-hitter through 7 innings who's like, yeah, I want to come out. You're not going to find that. The egos of starting pitchers are already high.
The only one that I can remember where a pitcher was taken out that I've seen was Rich Harden when he was an A playing against the Yankees. Had a no-hitter going through 5. And back then it was Kurt Suzuki was the catcher, I think. Noticed something was wrong. He had screwed up his shoulder and called the pitching coach to get him out of there. So,
yeah, see, I can understand in that scenario.
It's an injury. It's different.
But, I mean, that you know that something's wrong, that it's not right. But with no injury, there's no pitcher that wants to come out with a one-hitter in the 7th inning in a World Series game. And if you don't make that change...
At least not a starter.
Right. If you don't make that change, you don't have the situation where... we clear the bases, Price hits another home run, the game is now tied, and they lead in the 9th. You self-imploded. I think everything that Cora did right, the times that Roberts had an opportunity to do it, he made the wrong call. Other than the 18th inning, but at that point, just throw something at the wall and hope it sticks and you can get out of here.
Yeah, but when the Red Sox they knew they were getting someone who was unconventional.
Well, yeah, but they also knew that I mean, a lot of stuff now is done by analytics, and the manager's got to be somebody that relates to the players, can keep the locker room whole. But he showed his value as a manager in this playoffs with his decisions out